go and look at the data set or the question, you will see that FURN has a certain meaning of it. Here it is. So it's gonna be standing for furniture, okay? But this is a price index of furniture, okay? So if we look at things as it is the case right now, and you go to year 2000, you will see that all of these price indices are equal to 100, and this is because of what we have just mentioned over here in our sketchpad, which is this guy is going to be equal to 100. So this is known as a price index. Is it true to claim that what I've been talking about is true? Well, not exactly true, because pFood represent something that is not necessarily true. For example, here in the paragraph, they said that pFood is calculated as a ratio of actual to real expenditure. So real expenditure is not the same as price index. So what I've mentioned over here is something not necessarily true. So this doesn't represent the pFood. It does represent, however, the price index of food. So I'm going to erase this. And this doesn't represent pFood. It does represent the price. It does represent the price index of food. So basically, if you look at this thing over here is going to be PI. So let me just change the color. The small PI. So it's going to be PIT. This is a small p, not a big P. So this small PIT, or basically PI 1919195.9. So this PI until we reach this big PI, which is small PI 2000, and this PI 2000 is equal to what? 100, right? Because this is a price index. Obviously, this is a percentage price index. And what we need to do is that remember that we have, for each and every year, we have the expenditure of food, right? The total expenditure of food, which is going to be given as XI. So XI, which is a total expenditure in 1959. Remember how we calculated this? We multiplied the prices, which is this guy, by the quantity. And this is how we get the total nominal expenditure or money expenditure. And then we can do the same for all of the things. And we can do this for 2000 as well. This is, and then we do this till 2003. So as you can see, this is going to be the nominal expenditure. Now, how to compute basically the real expenditure, or what is known as the real expenditure, which is known as a small xit. Okay, this should be a t over there. This is small xit. How to do this? Now remember that here they define what we mean by real expenditure. Real expenditure, small xit, is going to be 100 times this guy, which is the xit. We said it's a money expenditure, divided by PIT. Okay, the PIT is the price index of a commodity, of this commodity, which is food in our case. So if we go back to our sketchpad, and we look at it, so basically it's for each and every year, what we're gonna have is gonna be this value over here, which is this value, XI 1959, divided by what is known as this guy, which is here, it's a small p, I 1959, times 100. And that's how we're gonna be finding the real expenditure of each of the food in each and every year. Okay, so I hope that this represents the question here. So you are given pFood series. The pFood over here that you can see is calculated as a ratio of actual to real expenditure. Okay, so still pFood is not completely, we didn't reach pFood yet. pFood is still, there needs some more steps to. So the actual to real value, we really need to understand which one is the actual. Remember that we stated before or early on that this would represent the actual or the nominal value, and this would represent the real value, right? So if we continue doing this, right? Even let's do it only for, so this is going to be the same for all of the thing, and this is going to be xi 2000, and of course divided by pi 2000 times 100. This is going to be your actual, your real expenditure of commodity food, which is food in year 2000, okay, in year 2000. When we want to talk about what do you mean by P food, it is actual, which is this guy. I'm gonna write the same color, so it's gonna be the actual, which is gonna be color red. Big XI 1959 divided by this guy, right? So I'm gonna write it as in black color. Let me put it this way. It's gonna be XI 1959 divided by PI 1959 times 100. Okay, and this is gonna be equal to what? So you can do the algebra. So this somehow will cancel with this, and then you'll reach PI 1959 divided by, so basically it's divided by 100. So if you want to express this in percentage wise as well, it's going to be nothing but this thing over here, which is the small pi 19, the small pi, which is going to be equal to pi 1959 percentage wise. Okay, so I hope that this helped you, and this is how we constructed the P food. So what we have right now in the data set is as follows. We have this column, which is a P food column. We have this P food column in the data set, and we have the food column, which represent what? So the food column is a commodity category that represents the following real expenditure. Okay, so this is what the question. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it turns out to be that the P food, which is the nominal to real expenditure, turned out to be the same as the price index. So what I tried to say in the very beginning is that the price index of food is the same as the P food, and that's why you will see that in year 2000 it's going to be 100. So I hope that this somehow demonstrates what the problem is about. And now we should go back to talk about TSM. So let's go on and to talk about TSM. So data preparation. So let's prepare the data. After selecting the commodity for analysis, the data first have to be organized and transformed. So what does this mean? This means that in the following steps we refer to the non-existent commodity category called CAT. So this category doesn't exist. We can, in our example, we're gonna treat it as food. Okay, so it's food, and this is what our variable is gonna be. In practice, replace food everywhere in what follows, or basically CAT everywhere in what follows, by the code of your choosing. So you can choose anything, but I'm gonna be choosing food. You can obviously choose any other thing. So you go, when you download things from the web, you will find that we have this TSM file, which is exercise 3. So I'm just waiting for it now. So in this code, you can see that this is open. The other thing what we want to do is create a new data file containing just the variable needed for analysis. In our case, it's gonna be we're gonna be opening as follows. So we're gonna go to the file, we're gonna go to setup, and we're gonna go for data transformation and editing, and we're gonna select food because this is CAT, which is food, and P food, which is somewhere over here. So if you go to P food, and we want to select TPE. TPE stands, remember that TPE here in our, it just stands for the real expenditure produces the value. So when we add all the real expenditures, it represents something called the TPE, which is the expenditure produced for it's all the expenditures really. And then we select P food, and then TPE, which is available somewhere here, TPE, and we need to select the price index of TPE. So price index of TPE, this is not it, so I'm somehow blind now. This is it, and we need to select DPI. This is DPI and POP. If you want to know what these stand for, you can just go there and you'll see what each and every variable stands for. Okay, so I'm gonna select for now POP, and POP is somewhere here. So when we select all of these things, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say open, or we wanna do edit, right? So we wanna edit, and then we select save selected, and then what we want to do is say go, hit go, and here we're going to save it. We're going to save this as cat.xls. In our case, we're going to save it as food.xls, and then we press save. And be careful, where are we saving it? So we should be saving it in the same folder. If you are in a Windows, that should be fine, but in a Mac it is a bit tricky. I think it's always better off to save all the files in the main category, but let's save it for now here. Okay, so food.xls, and that's it. Okay, so now we need to open the file that we have created. So you go to File, Data, and then we press Open, and let's say File Dialog. Okay, and you go to the same place where you save it, and this is food.xls, and we just press on it and clear the model specification. Yes, we say yes, and we should have our data set to be food, as you can see down there. Okay, so we have spoken about real values and nominal values. When we talk about real values, the price indices of food, and we look at the nominal values, we can see that the product of these two things with one another is going to give us a nominal value. So if we multiplied PIT times the nominal, the real PIT, is going to give us PIT times the nominal value. This is the real, right? This is what the real value is, divided by PIT, the small PIT, times 100. This is times 100 divided by 100, right? And this is times 100. So if we can cancel these out, and we're left with nominal value. Now, this is very important thing to keep in mind. So moving on, with what we have discussed, we want to understand that the question. So construct a series for the price index of other goods. So we are requesting to find the price index. In general, let X denote the real expenditure. So basically this X, which is represented over here, so this X over here, small one, it denotes the real expenditure on the good with price P. So basically what we need to understand is basically X, the small one, stands for real expenditure of good A. Okay, while P stands for the price, or the price level, or the price of of A. Then the product of these two, which is px